the first piece of John Reeve that I got, and now I've got all of these here, John Reeve. But the first piece I got was this one, and I found it at the flea market about 20 years ago. It's a salt cellar, and it was sitting on a table. It was filled with pennies, and I knew I wanted it. I wasn't sure, but anyway, I asked the guy, how much is that pot? And he said, that pot is $8, but you can't have the pennies. I'm John Lawrence, and I collect British Columbia pottery because I live in British Columbia. I started collecting stuff before I was in school, so preschool. And pretty much it was, whatever was available, marbles, matchbooks. I made a living as a musician until I was in my early 50s. And about the last 8 or 10 years of that period, I also collected things and then sold at shows, antique shows, flea market shows, that kind of thing. And then I had friends at the Antiques Mall in downtown Vancouver, and they said, there's a little tiny shop available. Why don't you move in there? And I said, not a chance. I don't want to have a shop. And the next day I went and rented it. And that was 20 years ago. So I've had a shop for 20 years. I do have a lot of antiques, but I have more like ceramics from BC. I probably have several hundred pieces in my shop. Plus I have a lot of local art. I like to know what I've got. So if I get something and I don't know what it is, I investigate it. Same way with the pottery. The great find is at somebody who you don't see a lot of their work. So Augaitis and Hilda Ross and Avery Hughey. Now Hilda Ross and Avery Hughey were up at UBC at the same time as Augaitis. And I've got a large collection of Avery Hughey's work. I'm very lucky. This is hers, and I've got a lot more. But I love her work. And they worked at UBC with Tommy Kakinuma, who was one of the first teachers up there, along with, I think, Rex Mason, and Reg Dixon. Anyway, Hilda Ross and Avery Hughey, who are both in the show, they joined together and created Ross Hughey School of Ceramics in the 1960s on 10th Avenue. I think it was for about 10 years, but I'm not really sure of that. This is an early piece of Tam Irving's. This is one that I wasn't all that fond of when I got it, but I've grown to like it especially a lot. And it has his written mark on the bottom, which dates it to 67, 68, I believe. This is a piece by Hilda Ross, and my friend Tom Weir, who was an avid collector and friends with most of these people back in the 50s and 60s. At the time he showed it to me and I bought it, we didn't see that it does actually have her name very, very faintly through the bottom of it, which he knew it was Hilda Ross anyway, but we didn't think it was signed. So that was a great find, but it's the kind of find, like, he always made me pay. Whereas if you went to a thrift store or a garage sale or a house sale, you might see a piece that had a sticker for, I haven't been to any of those for years because I'm at my shop 7 days a week. But when I used to, I found Wayne Nan vases for $6.99 and that kind of thing. And people do still. I like to live with my collection where I can see it. So some days I get up and I concentrate on one piece, or I'll come home and sometimes as I get older, I tend to linger at home a little longer than I used to. Like I used to get up, get out for years. Now, if I'm here like for a few hours, it's quite comfortable. But the one thing I've always felt about collecting is that I don't want to collect anything that's going to end up in a box that I can't see. I either want to see it, even if it's hidden behind some other pieces, or, juxtaposed amongst other pieces. But I definitely want it on display.